insane. You can't imagine it at the time, and I don't want to go back there in my head or my mind because the things that it brings up for me as far as flashbacks and post-traumatic stress really aren't good. It sets me down a path that'll mess me up for a day or more. Anyway, I had to keep all these different people in the loop about Kristen's drug activity, her financial frauds, physical violence toward me, in an attempt to protect myself from the lies and insanity. Anyway, the Penn Ridge Regional Police and the Pennsylvania Department of Probation and Parole even had an acronym for Dupree. CGNY was how they referred to her in all of these police reports. CGNY stood for Crazy Girl from New York. Kristen Dupree, Crazy Girl from New York. Well known to Pennsylvania authorities as the Crazy Girl from New York. Anyway, throughout all of this, I had to care for my 3 daughters while attempting to get help for Dupree until she showed up at the family residence. Now, she had been out of the house for 15 days and then back for a couple days to try to steal from me or get what she could, and I'd throw her out again. And our landlords didn't want her on the property anymore, so the protection order kept her from coming back to the house. But on March 6th at about 6:30 a.m., she showed up at the house. This is the day before Elizabeth's birthday, and we were planning a big trip. She showed up at the house at 6:30 a.m. to get me to give her money to support her drug habit for the day. I guess she probably ran out of coke down at Kyle's house or something, and she needed more money because Kyle wasn't going to give her any free coke. Now, she probably put up some ass or whatever she had to do to get it, but maybe Kyle didn't need that right now. He just wanted money. So Kristen came to me for that money. Look, in our couples counseling, now again, remember this. This couples counseling only happened at Penn Ridge, at Penn Foundation, because just 2 weeks before, on October 28th, Kristen had punched me in the face, broken out one of the small windows, stolen my credit cards, and disappeared. So when she came back on November 2nd, I had changed the locks on the doors. I had gotten new credit cards and a new wallet and a new driver's license and everything, so that she couldn't get in the house. What she didn't know was that the small window was about this big that she had punched out before and then opened to get through. I had put a piece of cardboard over the hole, waiting to get the window replaced, but there was also a 2x4 behind the cardboard. So, in Kristen's rage, when the front door was locked and she was screaming at me that she was going to kill me and why don't I come the F outside so Kyle could beat the fuck out of me, and every other terroristic threat that our neighbors heard up and down the block over and over again from Kristen, when she punched the cardboard, she hit the 2x4 and broke her hand. So that pissed her off. That's when she picked up what you see later in the photos and everything is a big wooden stool. And this is with my daughters, sleeping 20 feet away in their bedrooms, 4, 3, and 2 years old, sleeping that far away. Their mother is standing out front of the house with a drug dealer named Kyle Klemmer, screaming for me to come outside so that she could kill me or Kyle could kill me. And so she picked up a big wooden stool and threw it through the front window. Then she went around the back of the house and tried to throw an air conditioner through that door and window to get in. There's so much damage. There's so much insanity from that point forward. It's all been ignored by New York State. Look, what happened on March 6th was and she showed up to get money and everything. The girls hadn't seen her for a while. And when your 4, 3, and 2-year-old daughters are saying, "Where's mommy? I miss mommy. When's mommy coming home?" you really don't know what the hell to do. So I tried to make nice with Kristen for just a little while, but I could see where it was headed. She wanted money again, and I wasn't going to give her any more money. I wasn't going to keep enabling her addiction. I desperately wanted to get her some help. Now, her mother and her aunt and these other people were supposed to be coming down at this time, but I didn't really know what was going on, and I didn't really trust these people or have the kind of relationship with them where I trusted what they were doing. I honestly believe that they were against me, as they have proven again and again, and they just wanted to get my daughters out of Pennsylvania and up to New York State where they could rely on the bullshit of Clinton County. So anyway, in that couples counseling, Now, this is on November 14th, mind you. There's so much damning evidence in here, it's almost not worth. I should just encourage somebody to read it. I mean, there's information, all the different diagnoses that she had that relate to anger management and violence and substance abuse. The presenting problem is anger issues and substance abuse, as it says. Now, each one of these pages were part of our counseling, and Kristen signs at the bottom of each one, because what was really going on was that I was trying to get her admitted to an inpatient treatment facility, the Penn Foundation, for her drug addiction. Kristen is one of the most psychologically well-defended people you're ever going to meet. When she was raped at 9 years old, something broke inside her, and she has never gotten it back. Her own mother and her grandmother warned me about this, and I thought that our love and the fact that we had 3 daughters together and had built a nice life together would be enough to stop her. God, was I wrong. Look, in the adult biosocial psychological assessment, Kristen says that she threw a chair through the window last week. She's here with her significant other requesting couples counseling. She and the boyfriend have 3 daughters together, ages 1, 2, and 3, and the patient reports she has been stressed out because I was in jail. She moved out a few weeks ago, but there are problems because of she's not being faithful, plus a lot of other issues like stealing money and cocaine and alcohol and marijuana and threats of physical violence. She reports, legitimately so, that she lost 40 pounds since January because of her cocaine addiction. 15 of it in the last 2 weeks when she wasn't living in the house and she was out doing God knows what with God knows who for God knows how much to get money on the streets. The patient admits, Kristen does, to anger issues, but also blames her drinking on me, of course. She appears to hold on to resentments. She appears angry. She says she was raped at 9 years old, received 9 years of counseling, and the counseling was a bad experience and really didn't do her any good. She's in complete denial and is not living with the boyfriend at this time. Again, all these diagnoses are severe. Now, here's the interesting one. A couple things. On page G4, she says that she's lost 40 pounds. You can do that on the Jenny Crack diet or the Stem Fast diet, as they say. You do enough cocaine, you'll lose 40 pounds. Her mood, as it says here, is irritable or agitated, which always was when she was around me because I was calling her out about her addictions all the time. Again, she admits that she was raped when she was 9 years old and she still has PTSD from it. Here's some interesting stuff. She's not suicidal, doesn't have a suicide plan or anything like that. On the next page, there's some really interesting things. They talk about, was there aggressive or assaultive behavior? She says yes. And she brags to the therapist that she has a temper and that she popped me in the eye last week and she'd pop me in the eye again. That's what she told my parole agent. When my parole agent came to see that my eye was out to here and swollen in black and blue, and I had been to Bucks County Victim Services and got an order of protection and had her out of the house. So by November 14th, she's going to come back into the house already, and this is just long enough for me to drop the charges against her, for her to then refuse to go to get any help or counseling anymore, or to address her substance abuse issues, and for her to go off against me. Here's the interesting thing, 2 interesting questions. They say about the domestic abuse. This is November 14th, 2011. Are you currently, or have you ever been in a relationship where you were physically hurt, threatened, or made to feel hurt or threatened? Kristen says, no, of course not. I never ever threatened or hurt Kristen in any way, verbally, physically, emotionally, or otherwise. I thought I was the luckiest man in the world at the time. I had 3 beautiful little girls and a beautiful young, I always said she was my wife. But this is dang. She says that she started drinking when she was 13 years old, and she was drinking about a 6-pack a day, but that often escalates to beyond a 6-pack a day. There's a huge history of family of substance abuse, and she's right in the middle of it. Her grandmother or whatever talks about that her mother drank heavily and that she abused Kristen when she was a child, that she's living apart from me, that the only reason why she's really there is because she has involvement in the criminal justice system with charges pending against her from last week with the throwing the chair through the window and the terroristic threats and the property damage and everything else. She agrees to couples marital counseling. She admits to being depressed. She's in denial about everything. Says her judgment is poor. She seeks couples counseling and patient admits to having anger issues, appears, the enemy of another origin, has a negative impact on the patient's functioning, but patient is not willing to explore this further. Patient awaiting charges for throwing a chair through the window last week, has 3 children ages 1, 2, and 3, and Bucks County Child Support Services is involved. I'm getting really tired of reading. This is the custody petition and everything that was in Bucks County that superseded anything that was going on in New York State. And New York State has and had a responsibility to at least investigate this and to recognize that the home state takes control and has jurisdiction on. If you make other claims about domestic violence and everything, you can issue a default order, but a default order is not intended to never allow the other person to come to court or to defend himself, or then to be put in place and used against him for, like I've seen, the next 8 years. So, deny, delay, and obfuscate. I don't know. Let me see if I can go up here and do a little more. On page G3 in that form again, Dupree states that she has never been in a relationship where she was physically hurt, threatened, or made to feel afraid. And the only conclusion you can logically make from this, and it's been right in your face all the time, Kristen Dupree, now Kristen Carnahan, was, and always will be the primary abuser in any of this. On pages G8 through G10, Dupree's statements present a woman in severe distress, but unwilling to enter treatment for substance abuse and mental health issues as she protects her addiction. There is a dark family history of alcohol and violence all around her, manifesting itself to this day, that poses a very direct, real, verifiable threat to my daughters. And when people have told me that I should report this to Child Protective Services and they go out there, this woman named Liz Lahart from DSS, she goes out there and asks Kristen those fluffy white questions that Kristen's had to defend herself against time and time again from when she was reported to Bucks County Family Services in Pennsylvania by my neighbors, not by me, by my neighbors, for abusing my kids. So Kristen knows how to answer these questions. The only way to hold her accountable is to demonstrate that she's an addict and that she's an alcoholic and that she needs help. She is in such denial that she will never admit to having a problem, and therefore does great damage time and time again to these young children. Remember, they have a 4th daughter named Brinley, and I am not privy to what goes on over there, although I've been told by a few people that have babysat my daughters about the drug activity, about the drinking, about people passed out in their cars in the driveway, about God knows what. Kristen always wanted to run marijuana back and forth to Pennsylvania. I don't know if she still has those contacts in Pennsylvania, if she still grows weed with her father, Steve Dupree, in Beekmantown, and travels it and, transports it down to Pennsylvania. I wouldn't do that. I refused when Kristen asked me to get involved with the interstate transport of marijuana from her father's house. There was a time when we came up here at Christmas time that I told Kristen, look, do not attempt to bring any marijuana back in this car. She ignored me, lied to me, and put marijuana in mason jars and tried to put it in our Honda Odyssey where the spare tire was. Now, wouldn't you know that on our way home on I-87, there are sometimes those big federal, you'll see the black Suburbans and the black helicopters and the New York State Police and the big federal DEA all pulling cars over at random and searching them for drugs, because it's known that people are running marijuana and other drugs either from Canada and Interstate 87 or just from upstate New York straight down into New York City. So we're sitting in line, me and the 3 girls, and Kristen is freaking out. She's starting to cry. And I'm like, look, Kristen, please tell me that you did not put marijuana in this car. Tell me that actually for once in your fucking life you listened to what I had to say and did not jeopardize me and our daughters with marijuana in this van. Kristen, where the fuck is the marijuana? The only thing that saved us that day And believe me, if anything happened, I would have just taken all the charges and never asked anything of anybody. But the only thing that saved us that day was that when these federal agents looked inside, they saw 3 little girls in car seats. And I was rooting for one of them to shit their diaper right about that time to get these guys to leave us alone. But for whatever reason, they just waved us through. That's been not even, the kind of life I've had with Kristen. She's insane. Judge Lawless covers it up. So I don't know. Communicated with this with people time and time again. Now attachment I. This has all the police reports, my original, when Kristen did all the property damage. You can see the broken windows. Let's see. You can see the air conditioners that she tried to throw. There's the wooden stool that she, threw through the front window with me sitting on the other side, and our daughters asleep in their bedrooms just 20 feet away. If that's not textbook reckless endangerment, I don't know what is. But when you're doing cocaine and drunk off your ass and high as a kite, you really don't know. Yeah, Kristen was arrested for all this. It's all publicly, available information, all ignored by Judge Lawless in pursuit of me. All baseless, false claims against me are entertained and used. So since being terrorized by Dupree from 2010 to 2012, and once again since moving to Plattsburgh in 2017, using her surrogates like her mother and Ricky Carnahan Jr. or Ricky Carnahan Sr., or anybody that she can tell some bullshit to. Like I said, I've been defamed. I've been physically injured by a dentist at High Peaks Dental because he overheard some gossip about me abusing my daughters. So when you've got a bunch of crazy rednecks around here like there are in Plattsburgh, and they hear some shit about domestic violence involving somebody that's not from here, and believe me, if you're not from here, you're fucked from the door. Even if you have kids with one of these dumbass women like Kristen who just game the system and take advantage of all this. I don't know how to play it, but somebody needs to investigate this. Somebody needs to bring Ivana Mayazek into court and see how much money she has paid to Judge Lawless over the years. Somebody needs to investigate Alan Cruikshank for the shady shit he's done, and I have documentation to prove to me, but my God, there could be a class action suit involving these people. Just my history and for the 8 years, and plus what, Justin Herzog has told me about. And, like I said, my friend, the pot doctor, who was run out of town by Lawless, this is what he does, I mean, everybody's afraid of him. Everybody's afraid of what he does to people because, like I said, he integrates not just his own biases and hatred and whatever he can do to people. He can pull in the DA in a second and get him to do what he wants. He can get the New York State Police to pull you over, and he does that. He can put you under surveillance. He can get the city police to pull you over. He likes to send the sheriff's deputies up here. I live up on the 3rd floor, so you got to come up 3 floors to get to my apartment. When I told the therapist about this, and all this different stuff with Judge Lawless, when I talked to my therapist at the VA, they basically said, John, you're being run out of town, buddy. You're being railroaded. You're just too fucking stupid to know it. God, maybe that is the case. But I'm going to make a stand here. I'm going to upload these 80 pages of scanned documents. This document, it's not even a great petition. It's more of a cry for help and just trying to get people to finally look at this, because once they do, it's so damning that they have to do something about it. But the last part of this, and this one really breaks my heart, because look, I'm a big boy. I'm an adult. I'm an Air Force veteran. I know the stakes of these games and what goes on all the time, and I know that these people will kill me up here and not think twice. But what you've done, Kristen, what you've done, Judge Lawless, to me and my family is, I can't even discuss. This is a letter from my 81-year-old mother who doesn't know her granddaughters because of you. Not because of me. Because of you, Kristen. Because of you, Judge Lawless. It says, Dear Judge Lawless, I am Mary Ann Maiden, mother of John Maiden and grandmother to Elizabeth Victoria and Aurelia Maiden. 2 years ago, in June, I attempted to set up a phone conversation with my granddaughters. I called Alan Cruikshank's office and spoke to Ann at 12:30. She said she was having a busy day and didn't have time to look for the number to call Kristen. She thought Kristen's file could be in Cruikshank's car, and she basically got danced around by Cruikshank. Cruikshank got on the phone at 3:15 and said he was trying to get in touch with Kristen to see if she was okay for him to give Kristen my number. Ann called her back at 3:45. Now this is after I had paid $10,000. $10,000 in a direct check just to see if my mom could talk to my little girls. Just to see if their grandmother could talk to them, because for whatever reason this court was denying me even telephone conversation with them, and there was nothing I could do about it. I was afraid if I tried to do anything, Judge Lawless was going to throw me in jail or come up with some other bullshit way to hurt me. So I had to back off, but I wanted to see if my mom could at least talk to her granddaughters. So on 6/11 at 3 p.m., she spoke to Ann and asked again why Kristen hadn't called on Friday night as she said she would. And she said she didn't know. But again, as soon as the $10,000 check cleared, Kristen never attempted to follow through and to allow my mom to talk to my daughters again. On June 13th, Kristen called at 10:45. She said the girls would call me on Sunday afternoon, which was going to be Father's Day, as a matter of fact, and she never called. So on June 18th, she called the lawyer and told her that Kristen had not called as promised, or said Kristen had Alan said Kristen had a change of heart and would not be calling anymore. And didn't want to discuss the call. My mom says I am now 81 years old. With the coronavirus, it seems like time is more urgent than ever. Judge Lawless, what do I have to do? Do I have to get a lawyer like my son says? I just would like to speak with the girls. I know. She says, I know I will never see them again. She says, I know I will never see them again. But I would so like to speak with them and hear the sound of their voice. I would not say anything to hurt them or upset them. I am sorry for the terrible penmanship, but my fingers and hands don't move so good anymore. I know no one in Plattsburgh but John. I don't know what to do. I also know you can't answer me, but can someone tell me what to do so I can talk to them sometime before I die? Thank you, Judge. P.S. Elizabeth Victoria and Aurelia are loved, and they have 8 cousins: Aaron, Bella, Devin, Ryan, Christopher, Nathan, Shane, Kyle. You're killing me, Judge. Please take your knee off my neck. 8 years, 4 months, and 6 days is a long time for someone like you to kneel on a man like my neck. I can't breathe. My family can't breathe. I'm 58 years old. I would like to see my daughters and participate in their lives. They were my primary motivation when I was laying in there in that hospital bed after brain surgery with the tubes coming out of my head and restrained in that bed. After my knee replacement and after the hernia surgery and everything else, for coming up here and being hopeful and optimistic about seeing my little girls. And you have taken all that away from me, Judge. Why? Not because I deserve it. I certainly do not. Just because you can. Just because you're a powerful prick. You're a jackbooted thug in a black robe, sir. You need to be removed from office. The people of Clinton County deserve better than you and Keith Bruno and Andrew Wiley and Alan Cruikshank and what the hell's her name, Cheryl Haskell, and these other creeps like Liz LaHart that don't really care, but they do your bidding. Oh, I know they do your bidding. So these other attorneys and everything, they only have money in the game. They don't have any skin in the game like I do. They don't have little girls whose health and freedom and everything you jeopardize by leaving in the custody of Ricky Carnahan and Kristen Carnahan without me being able to participate in their lives or talk to them about what's important in life. This is deplorable, sir. This needs to be fixed. I'm going to do everything I can to take you down. I promise. Maybe you'll kill me first. I'm not afraid. I've never been afraid.